sure I get started. All right, good morning. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Davis and Chief Ford here. With us, just for everyone's information, Commissioner Kevin Davis, Chief Niles Ford of the Baltimore City Fire Department, Paul Shepard, who's the spokesperson for the MTA. I'm Chief TJ Smith, Director or Chief of Media Relations for the Baltimore Police Department. So before we begin with a briefing, Chief Ford and Commissioner Davis.
Okay, good morning. Chief TJ Smith is going to go over the details as we know them right now. They're still very preliminary. This is a crash investigation. We have every resource available to the police department and the fire department out here assisting us in this crash investigation. Several people were killed this morning when these two buses collided. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims, their families, their co-workers, their loved ones. Obviously, folks who are on a bus this time of the morning are working folks, and they're on their way to make a living. They're on their way to the jobs, and they're on their way to support their families. So, our hearts and prayers go out to them, to their families, to their co-workers as well. So, this is a complicated crash scene. It's going to take a lot of resources to get to the bottom of what happened. Chief Smith will have some preliminary information about what we know right now, but we're going to be out here for a while today and throughout the day. I think it's just important to keep the families in mind and the folks who lost their lives.
We also want to keep in mind the hard work that the responders did in very tough circumstances. They did an outstanding job. This was a major incident, some of which that some seasoned individuals in my organization said they haven't seen this type of break in their career.
All right, I'll go over the details as we know them, understanding that a lot of this can absolutely change as we go through the morning. It was about 7 o'clock this morning when we got a call for a crash here in the 3800 block of Frederick Avenue. What we know at this point is that a yellow school bus was eastbound on Frederick Avenue, which is right here behind me where we're standing. It struck this vehicle that's right behind me, a Mustang. Once the yellow school bus struck the Mustang, it continued eastbound, then struck the pillar at the Loudon Park Cemetery. The pillar has some damage to it, as you can see. The bus struck that pillar and then continued eastbound where it went into the oncoming traffic and struck an MTA bus on its driver's side and basically ripped the entire driver's side off of the vehicle. It literally looks like a bomb exploded in the bus, and it's catastrophic damage. We know that there are 5 fatalities on the MTA bus, and that number can change. We have not yet searched the vehicle, but what we know at this point is that there are 5 fatalities on the MTA bus. The other fatality was on the yellow bus. There were 2 occupants on the yellow bus, a driver and an aide. Right now, we believe there were approximately 13 people on the MTA bus. 8 people have been transported from the MTA bus with varying degrees of injury. Those injuries are from minor to critical. We also have 1 individual who was transported to the hospital from the yellow bus. And of course, an individual who was transported from this vehicle right behind me, the Mustang. So 10 people were transported by the Baltimore Fire Department to various hospitals with varying degrees of injury. We can't speculate on the cause of this crash at this point. We have assistance from all of our investigative units on scene. Just to clear up any rumors, I understand there were some rumors circulating about this being a crime scene. It is not a crime scene, it's a crash investigation scene. We have our detectives from the homicide unit here because they're used to dealing with death investigations, and we have a mass casualty incident involving multiple fatalities, so we asked for additional assistance to come out. So this is not a crime scene, it's a crash scene. At this point, our investigation is going to continue. It is a pretty horrific scene. I've been on a number of crash scenes throughout my career, and one of the questions that inevitably comes up is how long the road is going to be shut down. Again, people are going to have to go around this for their minor inconvenience while we do our due diligence for the families of the victims involved in this absolutely tragic situation that occurred out here this morning. So with that being said, we can take a couple of questions.
What's the circumstance of the school bus? Was it contracting with the city, or was it going to a private school in the city?
You know, I don't know the exact answer to that, but it was going to pick up a young person about 4 or 5 blocks away. So there were no children on the school bus. We do not at this time have the ages of those who were on the MTA bus.
You said 2 people were on the bus. Was it the driver that was killed?
The driver and the aide were on the yellow bus.
Was the driver killed in the yellow bus?
The driver was killed on the yellow bus.
Could I ask the fire chief, can you just describe for us, your firefighters and rescue personnel going into that bus, can you describe what they went through, the mechanics of trying to save people's lives, what they were up against?
In order to get into the first, let's talk about the school bus. In order for them to get into the school bus, they literally had to cut out seats. They initially went in the front compartment where people normally go in the school bus, and they found themselves going in partly in the back, trying to cut their way up to the driver and the patient that was in there at that time. The MTA bus is they're still working their way through. The problem is just as was stated before, this was a significant wreck. So there are still portions of the bus that our people have not been able to fully access.
You still have victims inside the bus?
Yeah, this is I sent out a media advisory earlier asking the media to be mindful of the fact that we have 6 DOAs on the scene. So people who are taking pictures, people who are filming, we saw some private photographers out there. That's not appropriate to post online. Consider if this was one of your loved ones on this on one of these buses. So that's not appropriate. John?
Is there any indication this vehicle here?
This vehicle behind me? No, we don't have any reason to believe that at this point in time. Again, this vehicle was struck in the rear by the yellow school bus. The school bus then continued on, striking the pillar here. Then continue. I mean, this is several hundred yards that we're talking about. So we have no reason to believe this was a stolen vehicle. That'll be part of our investigation, but I don't really know where that came from, honestly, but there's no reason to believe that.
If the driver is dead, how will you...
Hold on, Megan. We don't know that yet, but it was going to pick up a student, Mike.
With the driver dead, how will you determine what really happened to this case?
Well, the medical examiner will be able to tell us. I know a working theory that's been introduced was there a medical emergency? The medical examiner will be able to make that determination to see if a medical emergency preceded the incident. We also have a surviving victim that was on the yellow bus that once we're able to interview can fill in some details for us.
Was the MTA bus speed?
High rates of speed?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe high rates of speed?
We don't know. What we do know, the commissioner observed down on the scene as well, there aren't any skid marks. So something catastrophic took place, and it's something that we're continuing to investigate. And again, to see the damage that took place on the bus, it was certainly at a speed that you would travel here on Frederick Ave.
Is there any video on either of the school bus or the MTA bus?
We don't know that yet. That'll be part of our investigation.
Was the MTA bus driver killed?
I don't want to go into the particulars of who was killed on the MTA bus, as we have a next of kin to discuss. And I know I mentioned that the bus driver on the yellow bus was killed, but that was a little bit different in that scenario. So we want to do it the right way, because we have, unfortunately, 6 families that we have to notify that their loved ones aren't coming home. All right. We'll provide an update as we get it. We'll try to get out some ages and conditions on the people that are in the hospital a little bit later on. This road will be shut down for a significant period of time. We're asking people to take alternate routes and not to congregate around the area, because there will be an extended period of time that this road will be shut down. All right, thank you guys.